Good evening, my lovely Spockleites, and welcome to another post-narrated Wi-Fi battle. My name is Spockles, or Sebastian, as you can see on the screen, and today I have another match that I had on the Clan Wars against Flooz. You may have seen him pass by in a previous battle, but he was also in the Clan Wars, and I wanted to do this video for some reasons. The first reason was that I got some remarks that I was using legendary Pokemon, and that was the reason I won. So I wanted to show you guys that I also had a team without using legendary Pokemon, and yeah, and also Flooz is using the ever annoying, threatening SkarmSey, which is always difficult to deal with, and I just wanted to show you guys how I deal with these kind of threats. So, looking at my team, I'm bringing physically defensive Gastrodon, Assault Vest Conkeldurr, Choice Band Scizor, specially defensive Mega Venusaur. I'm using Trick Room, Magic Guard, Life Orbed, Reuniclus, and Rapid Spin Stealth Rock. Physically defensive Donphan as well, while my opponent is using Breloom, Skarmory, Mega Charizard, Espeon, Chansey, not Blissey actually, but Chansey, and the Donphan as well. So, yeah, let's just get the show on the road, and we'll see how we end up. So first the black screen of death. And then Flooz is issuing a challenge, which I gladly accept, of course. Keep in mind that the gameplay that is pretty the gameplay I use is pretty conservative at this point, because we want to maintain 5 or more Pokemon in our team. So I lead off with Slugworth, my Gastrodon, while he leads off with his Donphan, and of course Donphan can't take an Ice Beam, so he switches out into his Chansey first, while I just go for the Ice Beam. If he decided to stay in for the Stealth Rock, that would have been some great damage. So that's why I went for it. But he's gonna switch out into his Espeon, predicting my switch into the Conkeldurr, which is all fine. Because in principle Espeon threatens out the Conkeldurr, but I do know that I can take one Psyshock and or Psychic unless it's a critical hit. So I decide to stay in and just go for the knockoff, which will always one-hit KO an Espeon. So that's great, I get the first kill. And the Espeon goes down. Conkeldurr already putting in a lot of work. But at this point, Donphan comes in, and I predicted him to go for the Stealth Rock. That's why I stayed in, hoping to get a Drain Punch off, but instead he went for the Earthquake, killing off my Conkeldurr. Keep in mind that now it's 5-5, and we want to maintain this 5 Pokemon in our team. So I switch into my Reuniclus, and this time he goes to the Stealth Rock, while I predicted him to switch into his Chansey. So I went for the Focus Blast, and that barely kills him. Of course, he would have had the Sturdy, so it never would have killed him. So that's not a big problem. But the fact that he has so little HP left now is very important, because he also carries the Rapid Spin, and if I can force him not to use Rapid Spin, that would be great. So I decide to switch out, but he predicted that and switches into the Chansey, while I switch out into Scizor. So that is a good opportunity for me to get some damage off on something that comes in. I knew that he was gonna switch out, so instead of going for the obvious superpower, I just went for the knocking off any item that his switch in would carry. And because it's the Skarmory, it's a physical wall, he carries a Rocky Helmet. That is great. It damages me now, but it won't do any damage anymore. If he would have had the leftovers, he never would have had any recovery as well, so that is always great. So here I switch back out into the Gastrodon, because special attacks will always threaten him, but he goes to the Whirlwind and switches me out. Of course, he has the Stealth Rock up already, so that's fine. And I get to switch in my Venusaur, and I think this is a great moment for me to Mega Evolve this Venusaur and go for the Leech Seed, because I can definitely live one Brave Bird, and if I can get some stall damage off, some residual damage in the meantime, that would be great. But of course he avoids the attack, while Skarmory was able to roost up. So that sucks. I could have switched out at this point, figuring that I could do something else, but I really wanted to Leech Seed off, get some damage off. So while I do that, he goes to the Brave Bird, and like I said, I can take at least one Brave Bird. Look at that. And because I outspeed, I would have been able to outstall it a little bit with the Synthesis and the Leech Seed recovery while he gets residual damage from the Brave Bird. But I figured that wouldn't really help the strategy in general. So I decided just to switch out, fearing the critical hit, of course, and switch back into Slugworth. If he would have gone for the Brave Bird again, he would have taken some Rocky Helmet damage and the Leech Seed damage. So that would have been great. But he goes to the Roost instead. So yeah, it's pretty stallish at the moment. We're still scouting a bit each other. We have battled before, so I'm getting kind of how do you say? I'm getting a feel of how he's playing around. He's very conservative with his Pokemon as well, for the same reason that I'm conservative. If you get 5 Pokemon left, if you have 5 Pokemon left at the end of the battle, you get 2 points instead of 1. That's why he's roosting up so big. So I plan on using that information to my own advantage later on. So I switch into Scizor onto his Chansey. So that's great again, and this time instead of going for the knockoff, I just go for the superpower. And look at that, that is SkarmSey just switching in, no Stealth Rocks yet, almost full HP but not quite, and that is well over half. That is around half, so that was good for me to know, especially now he goes to the Roost, he loses his flying type, and I just wanted to scout how much damage I could do if he loses his flying type. So look at that, that is a -1 superpower from the Choice Band, and that almost kills. Very important information for later on, but at this point Scizor has to switch back out again, because I can't kill the SkarmSey just yet. So I expect him to Roost up again, so this is a safe switch in for my Runikless. And yeah, so he's gonna have to switch out right here, but that is what he's going to do, and I do predict that, but I don't feel that Trick Room is really gonna help me out in this match, because he has a very slow team as well. So I just want to put some good dents into his Chansey by using Focus Blast. And yeah, that is basically what I want to try to do. He's gonna try and attack me. He expected me to switch into Scizor, which is already down a couple of... it has already taken some damage, and I don't want him to die just yet, because he's my only physical sweeper able to take down this Chansey. But that's why I switched in the Tusk Raider here as well. In principle now, he either could have gone for the softball or for another seismic toss, and that would be a good opportunity for my Tusk Raider to switch in at any case. Meaning that now at this point I can set up Stealth Rocks and even Rapid Spin away his Stealth Rock, so that is great. So I decided to go for the Stealth Rock first, because the SkarmSey had taken some damage, because we are switching around a lot. It's important that I have the Stealth Rocks up. And he goes for the Toxic on my Tusk Raider, which is not a bad move. Toxic will add up in time, but yeah, you know, Tusk Raider is very bulky. It is a wall, so poisoning it will be very, very good for him. But I figured this is a great opportunity again for me to switch into Venusaur while he tries to outstall my Tusk Raider, my Donphan. So he goes for the Soft Boiled again, putting the Bethany at full health, but fearing the Leech Seed, which would add up to a lot, he had to switch out, and I predicted that and went for the Synthesis instead, meaning that I am almost back at full health, and this Venusaur can keep on tanking shit like there's no tomorrow. So that's a great thing, and he knows that now he can't really touch me, because he expected the Leech Seed, and I have the Sludge Bomb, so he has to switch out back into the SkarmSey, predicting the Sludge Bomb, but I predicted him again and went for the Leech Seed instead. So these were some very good turns on my behalf, meaning that like I said, I have a very clear view now on how his switch behavior is, and I'm trying to take advantage of that. So I switch back into the Tusk Raider, knowing that he can't really touch anything, that he can't really do anything against me except maybe Whirlwind, so he's gonna Roost up, and I'm gonna take this opportunity to get rid of the Stealth Rocks. I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but we'll see. But with the leech seed recovery, with the leftovers recovery, yeah, I'm in a good spot right here. He can't really do anything to me with his Brave Bird, while at the same time I can't really do anything against him, but I can do a rapid spin. So he's gonna go for the Brave Bird right here, which is fine, and that's gonna do a lot of damage because of the critical hit. But even with the critical hit, I'm taking it like a champ, and I can just go for a rapid spin right here. And that is great. Means that I have Stealth Rocks up, he doesn't have. He still has his Donphan though, so might be a problem. But the Donphan was already very weakened, and with the Stealth Rock, any damage would easily take him out. So that's great. Yeah, a lot is happening in this turn. And now he's deciding to withdraw the SkarmSey and going into the Charizard, and I expected him to roost up, that's why I went for the Earthquake, but instead he switched out. And I figured, okay, this Charizard, I have faced it before, so I knew that it carried a roost. And instead of switching out, at this point, I decided, okay, he's probably gonna roost up to Stealth Rock damage, expecting me to switch out. So I'm gonna go for the Earthquake instead. When you're roosting, you lose your Flying type, and Charizard is a Fire Flying type, so this was great. At that point, he lost his Flying type and got super effective Earthquake damage. So Donphan is really putting in the works. He set up Stealth Rocks, he got rid of my own of the Stealth Rocks on my side of the field, and he even got to kill a Charizard. I don't know if it's a Charizard Y or a Charizard X, it doesn't really matter. But I think it was the X because he didn't Mega Evolve. And but yeah, that's fine. And at this point, I figured that Donphan had its fun, so I was just planning on sacrificing him, but with the Breloom, going for an Ice Shard, but he decides to switch out again and goes into Donphan, and he takes the Stealth Rock damage and then gets killed off by the Ice Shard. So that is actually awesome. Donphan got 2 kills. As a physical wall, that is quite a feature, so that was great. And at this point, toxic damage is really racking up, and I was still fearing, I still needed to have those 5 Pokemon on my team. I already lost Conkeldurr, so here I just decide to switch out Dusk Raider. You know, it's just you need to go for the maximum of points if you can. And I still had a lot of other Pokemon able to really tank this Chansey. Even though Chansey is a very, very good special wall, it is horrible on the attacking side. So it does get the Seismic Toss, meaning that it does solid 50 damage every turn, but because of the Leech Seed, that won't really matter much. As you can see, 128 before the Seismic Toss, and then after the Leech Seed recovery, I gain enough health that in principle he only did like 6 damage in total. So I recover 44 hit points by just Leech Seeding the Chansey, which is nice. So, because he really can't do anything, I just wanted to damage him with the Sludge Bomb, but he switches into SkarmSey and he goes for the Roost. I knew that he would go for the Roost, that's why I went for another Leech Seed right here, because it will help me out. It would help me out when I'm switching around. I take a little bit of damage from entry hazards that it would just get, I would just recover all the damage via Leech Seed, so that's great. But here I switch out back into Slugworth, my Gastrodon. Basically, the only use this Slugworth can have in this battle is to tank physical hits from the likes of the SkarmSey and stuff like that. But he set up spikes instead. But look at that, I'm getting a little bit of health back, putting me back to full from the SkarmSey. And basically he has to switch out again because he can't really do anything. And he switches out into his Chansey again, while I just I just go for the Skull right here, because damage is damage, and knowing my opponent, if I damage them enough, they would go for the safer play and recuperate some health instead of attacking. And I just decide to switch in the Tusk Raider here, because I needed a free switch in for my Scizor actually. Because he would have died by either Seismic Toss or the Spikes damage. Here Scizor gets a free switch in because he switched out his SkarmSey at a rather low health, and I do have the Spikes up, and last time 2 superpowers barely killed the SkarmSey, but the moment he switches in now, he has less health than he had the first time he switched in, taking some stealth rock damage. So this means for me that 2 superpowers will be able to take down the SkarmSey. That is actually the plan, and look at that. He's gonna roost up right here because he really can't do anything else. And by doing that, he loses his flying type again. So the superpower is super effective, and it kills the SkarmSey. So one part of the core is finally down, and basically what's left now, I think, is the Breloom and the Chansey, and the Chansey can be dealt with by this Scizor, so I can just switch him out right here because I still need him around, and I can just switch into the Venusaur because that basically walls anything that Breloom can do. He has the Mach Punch, he has the Bullet Seed or whatever, it doesn't really matter. The Spore doesn't matter because I'm a Grass type, and I can just kill it with a Sludge Bomb. So yeah, I lost some of its HP, goes to the Mach Punch again, knowing that he can't do anything, while I finish him off with a Sludge Bomb. So his final Pokemon is left. Sadly, I have lost 2 Pokemon as well, so I don't get the 2 points, but I am still in a major advantage, and at this point his only Pokemon left is the Chansey. And what is great here is that basically I can just, yeah, I didn't want to rely on the Leech Seed accuracy to get the health back that I would lose from the Seismic Toss. That's why I went for the Synthesis first. Because even if you are winning, never get greedy, never get too confident, always play to the best potential that you can do. So I first wanted to heal up before I started to annoy him. So I go for the Leech Seed. It hits him, he goes for the Seismic Toss, but again it does 50 damage, but I recover 44 HP from each Leech Seed, so basically I can just stall him to death. And at this point the game is over. I just want to spam Sludge Bombs. I know I can switch in the Scizor. I know I can just switch in the Scizor at any time, but I actually didn't know at the time. I really feared that because with Spikes, with the Seismic Toss, I wasn't sure how much damage Spikes would do to my Scizor. That's why I actually stayed in on the Venusaur. But in principle, because the match was over, I really thought he would just go for Seismic Toss while I drained his life with Leech Seed and Sludge Bomb and then be over with. But it turns out he does have one Soft Boiled at some point. I think it was, I think it's here that he does it. But I don't really know. I really thought, yeah, I'm just gonna kill it. I get the poison though here as well. So I really thought, okay, the following turn would kill him, but he went for the Soft Boiled instead. So yeah, deciding to stall it out a little bit, that's fine. But at this point I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let's just go into Scizor. Either he goes for another Soft Boiled, or he goes for another Seismic Toss, and that doesn't really matter because if Scizor lives, he can just kill the Chansey with his superpower. So I did make a mistake by letting the Conkeldurr die early on, but Choice Band Scizor was definitely enough. As you can see, even if he would have gone for the Seismic Toss, I still would have lived with 9 HP. That's what I feared. I wasn't really sure if those 9 points would still, if I would have had those 9 points. That's why I didn't switch in immediately. But yeah, he goes for the Soft Boiled again, heals up, I get some leftover, I'm getting some Leech Seed recovery, and now I can just finish the game with a Choice Banded superpower. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I could convince you guys that that even without legendaries, a match can still be very exciting, and that I am still capable of beating people without using legendaries. I don't know. I don't really let it get to me. I just play by the rules that was offered to me by the organizers, which by the way was the chaotic Plasma Pokemon Battling and Trade Group. And yeah, it was just good fun. If you guys want to join me in the next installment of the Clan Wars, make sure to click on the link in the description below. It is a link to the Facebook group Chaotic Plasma Pokemon Trading and Battling Group, and they will organize a new Clan Wars, I think in the next week or two, and I hope to see you guys there. Until then, my name was Spockles. Peace out.